order. Uh, If you've had an opportunity to review the February 9th meeting minutes, we can accept a motion at this time.
I move for approval of the February 9th Budget and Finance Committee meeting minutes.
I second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
That item passes. This time we'll consider the consent agenda.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to consider the following items for consent. Item number 8 on page 3. Item numbers 16 and 17 on page 7. Item 18 and, oh, excuse me, not 18. So that was 16 and 17 on page 7. Item 20 on page 9 and 21 on page 9. And those are the only items.
I second those items. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have our consent agenda. We will get started with item 4.
Item 4, IEO RISE Program Transfer. An ordinance to amend the general fund budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2026 by transferring $23,768.50 from proceeds sales of property and appropriating $23,768.50 to non-departmental transfer to Fund 036 Grant Match and amend the grant match fund budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2026 by appropriating $13,582 to IEO, proceeds sales of capital assets, RISE Direct Cash, and $10,186.50, proceeds sales of capital assets, RISE Revolving Loan. Submitted by Coriate Hauser, Interim Director, Department Innovation and Economic Opportunity, extension 2771, amount $23,768.50.
Move the item.
Second.
Mr. Chairman.
Afternoon, Chief.
Good afternoon, sir. So the item before you has actually been approved by Budget and Finance, and this was referred to Economic Development for vetting. So all this is just setting up the accounts from our previous sale of properties for IEO to use for future RISE incentives for businesses in the city of Birmingham. This is just setting up the accounts for them to be able to disperse the funds.
You're saying the individual projects have already been approved, or what is going to?
No, they will be in the future for the council's consideration. This is just setting up the actual funding for future projects.
I got you. Any questions?
No questions.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item is forwarded to the full council with a affirmative recommendation. Item 5.
Item 5, PEP Brownfield Assessment Grant. An ordinance to amend the grant fund budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2026 by appropriating $500,000 to planning, engineering, and permits for FY25 Brownfield Assessment Grant per award received from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. Resolution number 1731-24, requested by Katrina Thomas, Director, Department Planning, Engineering, and Permits, extension 2288, amount $500,000.
Move the item.
Chief.
Mr. Tim Gambrell come up and speak to this item.
Good afternoon. My name is Tim Gambrell. I serve as the chief planner for the city. This item is basically just creating an account for us to be able to draw down the EPA funds, for us to hire a consultant to go through this assessment grant.
You got a question?
No question.
Have you identified what you're going to be studying?
Yeah, so the grant application focuses on North Birmingham and Pratt and Inslee. Particularly, we'll probably be looking at North Birmingham Elementary School, hopefully US Pipe Site, locations like that. So we could do, I think the budget calls for us to do 7 phase 1s and phase 2s. There would be a community participation aspect to it as well. And there would also be a planning aspect to it where once we've identified and done phase 1 and phase 2s on site, then we would use some of the money to do conceptual planning for the locations and also develop marketing material that hopefully IEO could use to market the sites.
Okay. Is one of the takeaways gonna be the extent of the cleanup that might be needed potentially?
Well, yeah, there would be a phase 1 and a phase 2 conducted for 7 sites. And so, yeah, that phase 2 in particular would identify particular concerns for cleanup. And we would hope that it would position us in the future for cleanup grants on these locations.
Thank you.
Okay, sure.
All in favor? Aye. All right, the item is forwarded to full council with a recommendation to approve item 6.
Item 6, Edwards Lake Road, IGA. Intergovernmental agreement with Jefferson County, Alabama, under which Jefferson County will undertake a project to make certain public infrastructure improvements to portions of Edwards Lake Road located in the city, and the city will provide $550,000 in funding in support of the project, which amount is 40% of the estimated project cost of $1,375,000. Submitted by Colin Alexander, Department BDOT, extension 2467, amount $550,000.
Move the item.
Second.
Good afternoon to the committee. My name is Colin Alexander, and I serve as the program manager in the Department of Transportation. Since about 2022, we've been regularly partnering with Jefferson County to repave roads that go in and out of the city and the county. It's been a very popular program. It's very financially and politically a smart move for us as we try to maintain all of our infrastructure. This one has an added component. Over the last year, we've been working with Councilor Woods' office on an ARPA-funded TOD study in Huffman. And as part of the community engagement with that, we got a lot of feedback about neighborhood concerns on Edwards Lake Road of drivers using the continuous center turn lane as a passing lane, which creates a very dangerous situation. So as part of that, about in August, we came back to the community with a proposal. Well, what if we just made it a 2-lane road with turn lanes at neighborhood entrances, which was met very favorably. And then it so happened that a couple months after that, the county approached us saying that they would like to resurface Edwards Lake Road. So we asked them if they would take on the new striping plan and make the road diet in order to address the neighborhood concern. So that's the project before you.
Exciting times. Thank you for your diligence and hard work. Any questions?
I do have a question. I was actually just watching your presentation of this, just when I was watching the Transportation Committee meeting, and it only just brought up a question in my mind. As much as I'm grateful for the paving that was done along Jefferson Avenue, but similar situation where people tend to drive in the middle lane. So does this take in consideration how many lanes are in a road in order to make that kind of determination?
Yeah, we had, so we have a traffic engineer and planners on our consulting staff who examined that and made this recommendation for what they believed was possible given the traffic on that road. So that was how they came to that proposal to the community in August before this was even an opportunity. And so we just sort of were taking that as the next chance we had, since we got neighborhood buy-in, was to look for that opportunity.
Okay, thank you. Because I was thinking of ways you could calm something like this, because people are riding that middle lane or that turn lane almost as if it's the third lane on that street. Thank you.
Don't let her take my project, Colin.
I know.
Don't let her take it. But no, I think this was, people are excited about this. This has been a concern for a long time, so I think it'd be good to put a solution in place, so thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, that item will be forwarded to full council with the recommendation to approve.
Thank you.
Item 7.
Item 7, La Vie Chiropractique, a resolution approving and authorizing the mayor to enter into a redevelopment agreement with La Vie Chiropractique PC, under which La Vie Chiropractique PC will undertake a redevelopment project to refurbish and restore property located at 2509 31st Avenue North, formerly known as Family Dollar, and the adjacent lot located at 2505 31st Avenue North, to establish a new chiropractic center which will result in the creation of 8 to 12 new jobs. The city has agreed to make the property available to the developer at a use value of $100,000 pursuant to amendment number 772, submitted by Janice Duthard, Department Innovation and Economic Opportunity, extension 2273, amount $100,000.
Move the item.
Second. Ms. Dothert.
Good afternoon. I'm Janice James Dothert, and I serve as Real Estate Manager in the Department of Innovation and Economic Opportunity. Councilors, thank you for the opportunity to come before you today. I'm seeking your support in the sale of the former Family Dollar building located at 2509 and 2505 31st Avenue North. The property is adjacent to the North Birmingham Library. Dr. Woody is here with me. She's the owner of La Vie Chiropractic. Her business is presently located on Montclair Road, where she's presently leasing a space. With this new location, she will actually be owning her space in the North Birmingham area, where she expects to probably put in about approximately $400,000 to repurpose the building and be able to expand her services and be able to offer more jobs and create more services for people. She's here where she can maybe, be able to answer any questions and tell you a little bit more about what she's gonna do at that site. If that's okay, she can.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Any questions?
Yes, I do. I want to thank you, and if we'll have the owner come up, thank you so much for the investment into this area. I know that there was particular concern by the councilman for this district, wanted to be sure that something was filled and something that was pertinent to helping the community and community health and wellness. I think it's just a great investment that we can make for this particular area. So just tell us a little bit. I'm also excited by the workforce development piece that you're putting in this. So just give us a little bit your vision about that particular service.
Thank you. I would like to create a holistic wellness center, acupuncture, chiropractic, high-end therapies such as radiofrequency, pulse electromagnetic field, shock waves, and we would also like to incorporate IV nutrients, which would be pharmaceutical-grade nutrients that are non-addictive to help reduce the opioid reliance and improve the quality of life for many of our seniors. We would also like to work with our first responders and our police departments and whatnot to help with longevity in the workforce, so they would stay at work longer. And also, it's evidenced with the things that I do. It helps with sports recovery. It helps to reduce injuries. So we would like to implement some programs to educate our younger athletes, maybe some school programs or some workplace programs to help reduce the disability that's coming in Birmingham right now. It's at a alarming rate right now. So we want to work with our young athletes and our youth. Our pregnant ladies, our newborns also can benefit from this as well.
Thank you. Thank you again for wanting to make this investment in the city. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. One, are we pronouncing the name of your business properly?
Yes, it's La Vie Chiropractic, which is French for the chiropractic life.
Okay. Well, no, we're excited. I think, as Madam President said, this is an area that is really needed some investment, so we're excited to see you coming, and I think it's a good opportunity to partner with somebody making an impact that we want to see.
Hey, I may have missed this. What is your timeline for development? When do you anticipate to open?
Preferably right now, I hope within the next year would
Next year.
be ideal.
How many clients would you plan on, I guess, serving per day?
Clients?
Yes.
You mean like per day, per week, per year?
I guess, do you have like a goal of how many people you plan on servicing?
Oh.
If you don't know, it's okay, I was just,
Oh, I just don't know. The sky's the limit at this point
Sky's the limit.
because, the more, excuse me, the more people that know about us, hopefully,
okay.
we'll be able to service them with this amount of space.
Yeah,
Well, dang,
No,
can
I'm
you
saying,
even ask questions?
I almost
I'm
jumped
like,
in, I thought she was, he took a deep, he took
That's
a
your
long breath.
question.
That breath
Mr.
full.
Chairman, it's fine, dang. You can ask your questions, it's fine. It's fine. She answered my most important one.
I was kind of piggybacking on what you were saying, but if you could talk about what you're doing with the space, and I don't know, I know it's a relatively large space, and just how you intend to kind of lay that out, what your like development plan is in terms of construction.
Could you rephrase that? I'm kind of,
What's your plan for the space? Like, what are you going to do in terms of build out?
it's going to be all wellness space, all of it, pretty much.
Were you done with the question? I'm sorry, I don't want to. You sure? I'm passing you the ball back.
I guess as far as the space, I think I understand where he's going. I guess how many rooms would it be? Would it be individual rooms or would it be open space?
Yes, no, definitely individual. And
Okay.
reason being is a lot of our female patients, we do like to provide privacy for them.
Thank
We
you.
also have like massage therapists and we
That's
do a little
nice.
bit of PT. I'm certified to do physiological therapeutics, which is the chiropractic version of physical therapy. So we do need private rooms for that
Right, okay.
as
I
well.
like that. Yeah, because I've been to chiropractic before, it wasn't,
Yeah,
there wasn't
right.
too many private rooms, and that's nice though.
It depends on the technique. There's over 100 different chiropractic techniques. I practice about 5 of them, but it depends on who you go to and their school of thought or their, training, which is, but I know what you're talking about. There are a lot of open adjustment rooms, but no, ours will be private.
And then my last question, is this your first location?
No, this will be my second location, well, third location actually. But with the
Awesome.
first location that I will be actually owning, I've always rented or leased since I began.
Where are the other 2 locations?
The other one was 4500 Montebello Road, and then I'm currently at 972 Montclair Road.
Okay. Thank you.
I think we are good. All in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
Aye. All right, this item will be forwarded to the full council with the recommendation to approve. Congratulations. Item 8. Oh, wait, no, item 9.
Item 9, Legion Field Cell Tower. A resolution authorizing the mayor to accept the unconditional donation to the city of Birmingham of one historic marker from TVT3 in consultation with the Federal Communications Commission and the Alabama Historical Commission's State Historic Preservation Officer. The historic marker will be installed at Birmingham's Legion Field, an Alabama historic landmark in a National Register of Historic Places eligible structure in an exact location to be determined by the city of Birmingham. The city will accept the donation of the historic marker as it is in the public interest of the city. The mayor is authorized to execute any and all documents necessary to effect the acceptance of the donation of the historical marker to the city of Birmingham. Submitted by Lauren Havard, Department PEP, extension 8160, amount not applicable.
Move the item.
Second.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hannah Garman. I serve as the Historic Preservation Manager for the City of Birmingham. This is an opportunity for us to place a historic marker at Legion Field free of cost to the citizens of Birmingham through the Section 106 review policy. This came about, the city of Fairfield, there was a new cell tower to be placed there. There was found to be a visual adverse effect. However, the city of Fairfield couldn't go forward with any type of mitigation. So the Alabama Historical Commission, given our relationship with them, prompted the cell tower company to reach out to us to do the mitigation instead. So this is part of that. The Legion Field Committee, as well as the Parks and Recreation Board, has approved a historic marker to be placed there as part of the 2027 centennial events.
Any questions?
I do have one question. I just want to be clear because the title of the item, but this relates more to just putting the historical marker in this place, isn't it?
It
Not
does.
placement
The
of
cell
it.
tower will be constructed at a different location that's actually in Fairfield.
Okay.
And so this doesn't have any, effect on Legion Field.
Okay, that was going to be my concern. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Just because I'm curious, what is the correlation between the cell tower and the marker?
So through the Section 106, because they're using a FCC, it has to be reviewed to ensure that the cell tower will not have an adverse effect on historic resources within a particular area. This was found to have a negative adverse effect. So as part of that, for the project to move forward, there has to be a type of mitigation to mitigate that adverse effect. It doesn't all the time have to be something exactly connected with the area where the cell tower is. Oftentimes it is, but in this case, they're locating it here in Birmingham since they couldn't come to an agreement with Fairfield. And so the marker is kind of financial representation of that mitigation. Historic markers cost up to, this one will cost probably around $7,000. It'll be double-sided and have the state of Alabama seal on each side. It'll be cast aluminum and probably go somewhere around the front promenade where the lions are.
Yeah, now you gotta love government logic, but we will take it. All in favor?
Did she have questions?
Oh, you have a question? Sure.
Yeah, she said no.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Thank
that
you.
item will be forwarded to full council, the recommendation to approve.
Thank you.
Item 10, are you welcome?
Item 10, Fives World Series Birmingham. A resolution authorizing the mayor to execute and deliver an agreement with Hurricane Group, under which Hurricane Group shall provide the Fives World Series Birmingham in the city at the City Walk area in downtown Birmingham, commencing August 5th, 2026 through August 9th, 2026. The Fives World Series Birmingham will create and foster community pride while providing recreation, entertainment, and opportunities for attendees. The Fives World Series Birmingham is expected to bring jobs and have a significant economic benefit to the city. In accordance with Section 772, the city will contribute up to $1,500,000, including in-kind services and financial incentives toward delivering the Fives World Series Birmingham. Submitted by Chaz Mitchell, Department, Mayor's Office, extension 2144, amount $1,500,000.
Move the item.
Second.
Chief, I know we encouraged you to go out there and find some things, but,
So that is correct, Mr. Chairman. So this is one of those recruitment tools that we did to kind of bring more international flair back to Birmingham again. So you think about, we had the World Games, World Police and Fire Games, MLB, first and second round, NCAA. And so now we want to bring, it's called Feast. It's a global international, she just threw me all the way off. She just threw me. So Feast is basically allowing extreme sports to come to the city of Birmingham. So this is in connection with the CVB and Feast to host a International BMX World Cup event here in Birmingham, along with a 3-on-3 basketball tournament and a skateboard competition that will be at City Walk. City Walk will be transformed into a international X Games type of venue for these couple of days. That'll be in August the 7th through the 9th. And right now, we're very excited because we're the only domestic location on this world tour. So out of all the countries, including China, France, Africa, China, and Paris, we're the only domestic city that will host this tour. The biggest part of this whole thing is just bringing the international flair back to Birmingham, including like our athletes and our fans, getting the international exposure for just having this type of event. And it does put another tip in our hat for something able to host international events like we have done in the past. And the beauty behind this also, it kind of leverages its potential leading up into the Olympics in 2028 in LA. So we'll kind of use this event as a linchpin to host these type of athletes as they get ready to compete in the Olympics. So before the council is just our financial incentive for hosting an event for $1.5 million. The funding will come out of our $3 lodging tax. So we're able to host this type of event and hope that we will get our return on investment. We're potentially thinking that the economic impact for this event will be between $15 and $20 million based on the CVB numbers. But we also think that we will have at least a good number of athlete and international host rights in the city of Birmingham. So hopefully I gave you enough information. If you have any questions, I'll be able to answer them.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions?
I have questions. So this event, August 5th through the 9th.
Yeah, it'll be August the 7th through the 9th
Okay, August 7th through
in
9th.
City Walk.
At City Walk.
Yes, ma'am.
And typically when we have these type of events, we have some type, this will be the beginning of the school year, but any type of youth components. Let me ask, what is the typical age of people who come to look at this? Is this an intergenerational sport?
Yeah,
or-
so this is a generation, it will probably be your Gen Y and your Gen Zs.
Okay.
Like I said, this is dealing kind of with the X game type of format where you're dealing with BMX biking, the 3-on-3 basketball, and just skateboarding in general. So they'll use that transformation down in City Walk where we already have the skateboarding and then kind of transfer into like viewing stands and more of a kind of like a obstacle course for the event. So it will have a younger flair. So I think Feast has already said they will be able to reach out to a lot of people within the community and the international people that come in town for events of this nature.
Perfect. That was sort of what my question was centered around. I know we like to bring people into the city, but I also like to be sure that our residents have an awareness and they have any opportunities. And sometimes we do that through our youth groups and things like that. So looking at the age group that you think this would be, most people would be interested, then that helps me with that question. And with this support, you're giving in-kind services and that type thing. So that would be like setup and things down at City Walk.
So in our conversation and negotiation with them, of course, outside of the 1.5 million, we did offer up police protection, fire protection that would be needed for the actual event. They have a list of things that we can probably offset the 1.5 with that we're still kind of negotiating with them on. But right now, it's just the 1.5 million in conjunction with the CVB will throw in their amount. Don't want to put them on the table about how much they may give to the event, but it's a cooperative thing that we're trying to do, especially trying to get the county involved in the end. So it's kind of be like a three-headed monster along with the private-public partnership things that we try to do also.
Okay. Thank you. Those are my questions, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Chief. Yeah, definitely looks like a exciting competition. I would ask too, will a portion of what they build be in the open air portion, like out, not under the bridge?
Yes.
Okay.
So once we get that fine, we do have a map of how it would look. I don't want to disclose that just yet until they finalize it in their last walkthroughs, but we'll definitely share that with the council. But the activation will kind of extend the current skateboarding park that's down under City Walk into the streets.
Okay. And then did we negotiate a 3-on-3 team for the council to be able to enter?
Me, you, and who else?
3-on-3.
There she go.
TBD. TBD. We're gonna have tryouts. Okay. All right, exciting. I like it.
Thank you.
Keep keep us on the world stage, sir.
Do my best.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, that item will be forwarded to full council with a recommendation to approve. We'll move to item 11.
Item 11, a DEM recycling grant. Be it resolved by the council of the city of Birmingham that the mayor is hereby authorized to apply for, submit, execute, expend, accept, and take all actions as are appropriate and necessary in accordance with the terms of the grant submission requirements and grant agreement with the Alabama Department of Environmental Management FY 2027 recycling grant to promote local recycling efforts by providing reimbursement grants to local governments to develop, implement, and enhance recycling in an amount up to $475,000, to programs to expand the city's curbside recycling services and education and outreach campaign at no cost to the city with no matching funds due from the city, and further authorize the mayor to take all actions and execute such other documents as are appropriate to accept and expend the grant funds on behalf of the city in accordance with the grant documents. Department, Mayor's Office, Grants Division, Adrian Stitt, extension 2434, amount $475,000.
Move the item.
Second.
Good afternoon. Adrian Stitt. I serve as the Director of the Grants Division in our Finance Department. Again, we are going after the ADM Recycling Grant for the fourth time. It's a collaborative effort between PEP, Equipment Management, and Public Works, where this time we are asking for drop-off trailers, a pickup truck, some additional residential carts. We're looking to do a study on waste characterization and hub and spoke feasibility study. And that's pretty much it. $475,000. Remember, we received this grant the last 3 years. This will be our fourth year applying and using these resources to help our residents recycle.
Any questions? All right, good. If y'all could share that list of things you intend to do if awarded, we would appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that item will be forwarded to the full council with a recommendation to approve.
Item 12, Oasis. A resolution authorizing the mayor to execute for and as the act of said city, a real estate purchase and sale agreement with the Music Center LLC, under which the city will purchase from the Music Center LLC certain real property consisting of a 7,000 square foot vacant lot, which is located at 1312 First Avenue North, for a purchase price of $170,000, with such property to be used for future development. Submitted by Elena Milton, Department, Mayor's Office, extension 2888, amount $170,000.
Move the item.
Second.
Mr. Randall Whitfield has now approached.
Afternoon, Mayor.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and other city council members and committee members. And I want to ask a couple of colleagues to come up as well and share some additional information. I think part of the reason why I'm here is that I want to speak to and acknowledge the sensitivity around how we continue to address our unhoused residents in our community. And I want to say it's about a year ago, some information was shared to me just explaining what happens in human nature. It's a very simple notion. All human beings hang out, whether they're housed or unhoused. Housed citizens, if you would, tend to hang out at bars, lounges, restaurants, and other spaces that can be public or private. And unhoused residents tend to hang out in public spaces, parks, or near shelters, or under city viaducts, or under state interstates, or sidewalks, if you would. And what we found in other cities, because Elena Melton, not Chaz, but Ed Fields and other team members have continued to not only address the situation, but benchmark and research best practices that include whether it's via Zoom or online, or in this case, with this Oasis site, literally going to another city to see an actual physical space that's intentionally designed and created for unhoused residents, because as stated, people will have a place that they go to. And what we find in the city of Birmingham is that unhoused residents in certain intersections of our city and in certain public spaces are actually mingling with housed residents and vice versa. Housed residents are mingling with unhoused. If you take the Reconciler, for example, when we see that their hours of operation close, you tend to see a gathering of men and some women out on 2nd and 14th. What we find as we dig into that is that all of those residents are not unhoused. So what they're going to go deeper in explaining is this space would be intentionally designed for unhoused residents because people are going to hang anyway. But this would be a designated space. That's one. Two, this space would actually be city property. And before you today is a purchase for us to purchase this space. Three, this space would not be managed by the city of Birmingham because we know what we're good at, what we're not good at. And what you want is people and or an organization that can come in here and do a couple of things. One, through coordination with Birmingham Police Department and Public Works, is to keep it clean and keep it safe. Equally important, and I dare say more importantly, is to be in the best position to build trust and relationships, because while people are hanging out, while this space is designed to be safe, it's also designed to build trust, to get people to services, if you would. And that's the ideal outcome we want. It's not just people hanging out, but a place where they know I'm safe, it's trusting, and the people running it and managing it can get me to a position where if I need additional resources, the next step, if you would, of transitioning from being unhoused, then the rapport, the relationship, and the trust has been built to get to that point. And that's what this is about overall. But isolated before you today is literally the purchase to start this process. Recall that there's opioid funds we receive, but the opioid funds are restricted to a programmatic thing. This is the actual purchase of land. So in the current budget, you all approved $1.5 million for us to support additional ways to address our unhoused residents. So this will come from that funding that you all already approved. Am I missing anything else? I think you all need to go deeper. I need to bring this young man up to actually give you more detail on the actual purchase. And then Elena Melton's here to talk more about the programmatic, if you need that, or outfitting of the actual space.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good afternoon. Ireneo Johnson, I serve as Project Manager at the Department of Innovation and Economic Opportunity. The project before you is the request for the City of Birmingham to purchase property at 1312 First Avenue North, as the mayor alluded to, for a conceptual urban park. It has been demonstrated in other cities that they have visited, as he alluded to. The price will be actually $168,000 as an amended price on that. Was based upon the appraised value that the city performed for the property. The concept will be a park with some services provided, as the mayor alluded to. We are trying to figure out the details of who's going to be involved in terms of the maintenance of that. That's to be determined. But we know that that is the mayor's wish, and that's what we're asking for today, is that the actual acquisition of the property as stated.
Any questions?
Well, I have a question. I was trying to see a street view of what is currently there.
It's a vacant lot.
It's a vacant lot?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
thank you.
Counselor?
Thank you. I guess can Elena kind of talk about the programming and did you call it outfitting? I guess the outfitting of it. And can people put tents on there or is it more, can you explain it more?
Good afternoon. Elena Melton, I serve as Director of Unhoused Strategies for the City of Birmingham. It's a day shelter that's outside. It's the answer for what happens when the shelters ask people to close, traditionally to go and find work. As the mayor said, excuse me, we see a lot of hanging around in that area. And so we often get the question, where do people go? This is the answer that we propose for where people can go. And so the programming would be from 7 till a.m. till 11 p.m. And it's a place where, as we get into this charitable feeding ordinance, it'll be a site that actually will be safe for people to feed and make sure the area is clean. One thing that we've heard from our folks experiencing homelessness is they need a place to store their things. Mm-hmm. This will be a place where they would have lockers that they could bring their things, especially for like job interviews. Sometimes for doctor's appointments, they are looked upon because they go into the doctor's office with all these bags. So this would be a place for some people to store their things and have a lock. The mayor also mentioned we went to Austin, and this is in downtown Austin. We learned about this kind of work where there's kind of an urban park that had services. The largest goal, since we use opioid funding, is how can we get people access to services, particularly for treatment. Our largest partner in that will be JBS Mental Health Authority. They will be able to bring their dogs there. What else? But no tents. People cannot stay there. And it won't, no tents.
So how many officers, because I heard the mayor said that BPD will be there to keep it clean and safe. How many officers will be on duty? That's to be determined. Because I'm just thinking realistically. I just don't want it to turn into dog fighting, which I don't think people naturally do it. I'm a dog owner, but I just want to make sure, that's a pretty big area for trying to regulate it.
Yeah, so, we actually appreciate BPD and Public Works. We got two departments here that are going to assist with this. As we continue to engage sites around the city that activities shouldn't be taking place, there's literally usually a minimum three-way coordination, actually four, between Park Board, Public Works, Police Department, Elena Melton and her team. I think in this case, if you remove the Park Board, Public Works and BPD as co-coordinating with us still is extremely important. So from the BPD standpoint, I think like all other spaces, we're gonna need a public safety, we're gonna need a safety plan, one. Two, we're gonna need technology, so cameras, if that makes sense. And then three, actually manpower, which is to be determined based on scale of people, which I think any other point, when it comes to sporting events or events in certain venues, the question is how many people are there and able to calculate how many officers should be there, if that makes any sense. So that's literally to be determined.
Okay. And how we determine the number of agencies that will be on site and the hours?
Determine agencies and hours.
There hasn't been an ask for agencies to be on site,
Okay, gotcha.
but the hours should be 7:30 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Sorry, I was talking about the agencies. I guess I was kind of thinking about, similar to the Homes for All, like how we're gonna have agency. I guess, I'm more of a visual person. Can you kind of tell me, like, so if this is, we'll make it a rectangle, like, where, do you have the visual for that? Like, is it gonna be one side, one corner of the lockers, or how are we doing this? And where are dogs going? Is there a place for dogs or cats to, do their business in as well? Will we have scoopers?
We had a schematic that we did share to the council. I know the lockers were not on it, we added that, but we can, it'll probably be helpful to resend because this little picture that I have done doing it just, but we'll resend that. You asked another specific question about the layout.
Just, even if you just not draw in the air, but just, I'm
It's
just
a pretty
trying to
open
visual-
space. There are tables, a fenced-in area for the dog run.
Okay.
The tables will be for people to eat. And of course, there'll be coffee served there every day. The other big feature that I failed to mention, there will be public restrooms.
Okay.
So it's really an answer to where the folks experiencing homelessness go through the day. It's a really simple setup with very low overhead, but just designed to create a space that's safe and where we can hopefully, with some trauma-informed care, get them to the next step on their journey and get the care they need. Particularly as we've seen the opioid deaths rise, we just want to do some intervention and connect people to resources, but the resources would not, very much like Home for All, there'll be wraparound services, but not necessarily on site every day.
Gotcha, okay.
But the services could come as needed.
Okay, and will there be mobile showers or just the restrooms?
Just restrooms right now, no showers.
Okay. Okay.
That would be great. And we probably need to figure it out through some type of public-private partnership. That would be
Yeah.
great.
Especially when it gets hotter.
Yes. And when we talk about dignity and the whole notion of rapport and building trust. I mean, that's the biggest thing of this, right? The takeaway is not just a space where people convene, right? That's the bonus, right? The meat of this is I have a safe place to go to, and there are people here working every day that I can build rapport and trust with. So I can finally open up about what's blocking me or my issue or my concern or better, my want, desire to come out of my situation. Well, it's tailor-made if you hear and that rapport and that trust is built. The whole idea is for us to get a person or people to the next phase of the opposite of being unhoused, if that makes any sense.
Yes, and, do we have a proposed start date? Or I guess when would this open? If this was a perfect world, everything,
In a perfect world, we would start at the top of the summer. It would be a great way when we see the numbers increase on the street. And we would also have a place where people can cool down. It would just be with umbrellas, like, patio umbrellas.
That's nice.
But we would have outdoor fans and, of course, cool water and that kind of thing. So in a perfect world, it would be the top of the summer.
Okay. I feel a lot better about this item now, because at first I was kind of trying to figure out how would this be, if this was just going to be a big, hangout spot. But in my questions I was asking, I was trying to think about if something happened, how would I feel? What would I want there? What would help me? And you see a lot of times with unhoused residents, a lot of times, they have dogs. And, if you don't have a pet, you don't consider, you don't really have a place where you can take your dog, because you can't go inside with your dog. I'm very thankful, honestly, that you guys are doing this for our unhoused residents. I've seen a lot of strides towards this issue in the last couple of years. I know you're very passionate about it. So I'm hoping that we're able to help more people get off the streets and just helping every resident. I want to thank you, Mayor Woodfin, because it seems like the last couple of years, you definitely have cared about every resident, regardless of the age, their housing situation. And that's something, I think the 10 of us strive for, that the city can see that we don't care if you're a baby or if you're an elderly person, we're here to help provide the resources for you to improve your quality of life. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. No, I think this is unique. Some of the things we're facing currently are a changing landscape, and so we're going to have to continue to be creative. And so applaud y'all for bringing new ideas to the table. So thank you for that. I think we're ready for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the item will be forwarded to full council with a recommendation to approve. Item 13.
Thank you.
Item 13, PACE 2026 Funding Agreement. Funding agreement with the Public Athletic, Cultural, and Entertainment Facilities Board, under which the PACE Board will contract for certain repairs at Regents Field to include elevator repairs at a cost of $172,735 and upgrades to computer infrastructure hardware at a cost of $256,391.29. And the city will provide funding to the PACE Board for such repairs in the amount of $429,126.29. Submitted by Chaz Mitchell, Department, Mayor's Office, Extension 2771, amount $429,126.29.
Move the item.
Second.
Chief, thank you, sir. See if I can go 2 for 2.
Have some
So
questions.
what's before the council is agreement between the city and the PACE Board to do some repair and maintenance upgrades to Regents Field. If you're aware, Regents Field opened in 2013, so that puts it at 13-year-old facility. So, of course, with deferred maintenance and common upgrades to keep up with the pace of time, we have to do some things in order to keep it up to code or up until having that customer service level. So what's before the council is just some IT upgrades that need to be completed at Regents Field. And the elevator has been down for a number of weeks and months. So we're trying to repair that before the beginning of the season. So this is a little different because usually we take the rent that the Regents, that the Birmingham Barons pays and do these type of upgrades. But since we had a laundry, let's just say we had a laundry list of things that we had to do, and this was outside the realm of that rent. And so we're gonna take care of using the general fund money. And so that's what's before the council, so we can get this moving and get these projects completed before, April as, opening day comes.
Talk about the funding source. You said,
So the funding source is deferred maintenance. The council approved some funding that we use in capital projects and then Public Works around $1.5 million every year. And we're just gonna use that money to pay for these upgrades. And like I said, it's part of our deferred maintenance for different things that come up that we don't really have funding for.
any questions? Former Councilor Abbott would be proud.
Yeah, she did say we need to start taking care of our stuff. So this is taking
Maintaining
care of our
property.
stuff.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, the item will be forwarded to full council with the recommendation to approve item 14.
Item 14, Seeds Grant. An ordinance to amend the grants fund budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2026 by appropriating $2,015,625 to IEO for Site Evaluation and Economic Development Strategy Program grant per grant award received. Resolution number 81801-25, submitted by Coriate Hauser, Director, Department IEO, extension 2799, amount $2,015,625.
Mr. Chairman.
Let's go ahead and call item 15 as well.
Yes. Thank you.
Gotcha, Chief.
Seeds Grant Match, an ordinance to amend the general fund budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2026 by transferring $2,015,625 from finance grant match and appropriating $2,015,625 to non-departmental transfer to Fund 036 grant match and amend the grants fund match budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2026 by appropriating $2,015,625 to Site Evaluation and Economic Development Strategy Act, Resolution 180125, submitted by Coriate Hauser, Director, Department IEO, amount $2,015,625.
Move the item.
Second.
Chief.
Yes, sir. I kind of piggyback with this with Ms. Stitt, but this is a grant that was already received, and we're just recognizing the amount through our grant match for that actual grant for the seeds. So what's before the council is actually the grant, accepting of the grant funding and the match that will match out of the general fund for the seeds grant that we received from the Department of Commerce, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think we saw it on the news. Talk about the the match amount and the grant amount?
Yeah, I'll let Ms. Stitt talk about that.
Good afternoon again. Adrian Stitt, Director of the Grants Division with our Finance Department. The grant amount is gonna cover, a master plan, some design, and this grant was a one-to-one, grant where dollar for dollar. So they awarded us $2 million, and basically we're matching $2 million. It's gonna be it's a reimbursable grant.
And if you remember, the Seeds grant is for the Inslee Work site.
Yes.
So that's, for brownfield assessments and some other things that we'll bring before the council when we get towards the stage of, issuing contracts.
Yeah, but for clarity, it's a reimbursable grant, so we're just expending the funds and being reimbursed, or there's gonna be a total of 4 million going into this, site?
It's gonna be a total of $4 million, so when we say reimbursable, we'll get an invoice. We'll pay that invoice, 50% will come from the city's match, and the state will reimburse us the other half. So if we get an invoice, for $100,000, we'll pay that invoice, and we'll get reimbursed $50,000 from the state.
But we're committing 2 million and we're getting 2 million in grant funds.
Yes, sir. So it's 4 million total.
Cool. All right, so what do we expect? Talk a little bit more just about the deliverables. I know this is a major opportunity out there.
And I'm gonna have to get some help with it.
So I got a couple of notes, and
Okay.
come on, Aurelio. So basically, the whole Inslee Works site is just for us to be able to connect the Birmingham Port facility to the Inslee Works site for development. So on that site, we're looking at making it, a long-term investment to brownfield remediation for housing and commercial development. That's the top line of it. So we have different partners that are at the table that would help us kind of sell that brownfield assessment to different type of vendors. And right now, this is kind of like our first step for site remediation and evaluation, so we can be able to sell it. So I don't know, Mr. Johnson got any more?
Yes, to allude what Chief Mitchell was referring to, this $4.2 million in grants would only encompass phase one of the Inslee Work site. The Inslee Work site consists of about 5,000 acres of property that consists of Birmingham as well as Fairfield. So we'll be subdivided to the Birmingham entity part of it. So it's only going to cover phase one, which we'll be doing the remediation on. So that's, and as Chief alluded to, it'll probably be for commercial or mixed use in phase one.
Right, so I'm just trying to clarify, when the 4 million is spent, we will have remediated the site, or we have done phase one remediate? Talk about the difference in phase one and phase two. Czar. Wait, the Czar.
All right, good
You're
afternoon.
the ARPA czar, wait.
Chris Hatcher, Chief Planner and Chief Community Planner, Office of the Mayor. This $4 million, the total amount of the $4 million will be for site assessment, okay? That is, it's over 500 plus acres. That includes master planning, that's boundary, site boundaries, geotechnical, and cultural resource surveys. So the whole, it can include phase one, phase two, but right now, we only submitted for those 4 other assessments. Once the property owner, they do have existing phase one and phase two, where we'll be looking at those as a benchmark. They're so out of date, though, we're gonna have to do new phase ones and phase twos. So we did not include those in this initial survey or this initial grant proposal because of that. So.
I got excited, I didn't ask if anyone else had any questions, I'm so sorry, forgive me.
You got it.
Good. I would just ask if we could get a little bit more detail ahead of the full council meeting, with just kind of bullet points of what the deliverables will be or what we want to?
Yeah, we can provide a one sheet that we have that, we'll provide.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, thank you. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, those items will be sent to full council with a recommendation to approve. Item 18.
Item 18, Graymont School updated documents. An ordinance to authorize the mayor to execute certain documents in connection with the Choice Neighborhoods Legacy at Graymont project to include a second amended and restated ground lease with Veranda at Graymont School LP, assignment, assumption, and modification agreement with Magic City Housing Development Corporation and Veranda at Graymont School LP, rental assistance demonstration use agreement with the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, Veranda at Graymont School LP, and the Housing Authority of the Birmingham District, a Choice Neighborhoods Implementation Grant Declaration of Restrictive Covenants, a ground lesser estoppel certificate, and a lunge to forgivable loan and promissory note, other routine certificates, instruments, and documents. Submitted by Megan Venable Thomas, Department, Community Development, Extension 2309, amount, no additional funding is involved with these documents.
Move the item.
Second.
Dr. V. T.
Good afternoon, Megan Venable Thomas. I serve as Director of Community Development. And today is a number of documents. If you recall, I mentioned last week on our Choice Neighborhood Phase 1, the redevelopment of the Graymont School. We are moving towards closing, and with that, it requires some updates to some of the original documentation that we need to close out the deal. I'd be happy to have Attorney Stanley come and speak to some more of the technical language for any questions you might have about any specific documentation.
Do y'all have any questions?
I don't necessarily have any questions because, again, you sort of laid the groundwork that these documents would be forthcoming, and this would give us, just sort of help us put this into, relate it to the information that you gave us, because the concern was what comes next, what's coming next. So I don't have any questions about specific documents.
Yeah, Madam President, you're correct. This is added on to what was presented at committee of the whole last time. So yeah, this will be some necessary steps that have to come before the council.
All right, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. V. T.
Thank
All in
you.
favor?
Aye.
All right, the item will be forwarded to full council, the recommendation to approve. Item 19.
Item 19, SWAC Legion Field 2026-2027, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with Southwestern Athletic Conference under which SWAC shall organize and host 2 intercollegiate football games between 2 conference teams at Legion Field Stadium during the 2026 and 2027 football season, commencing August 26, 2026. The SWAC football games are expected to have a significant economic benefit to the city and will create and foster community pride while providing recreation, entertainment, and opportunities for attendees. In accordance with Section 94.01 of the Constitution of Alabama, Amendment Number 772 to the Constitution of Alabama 1901, the city will contribute up to $225,000 in financial incentives toward hosting the 2026 and 2027 SWAC games in Birmingham. Submitted by Chaz Mitchell, Chief of Operations, Department Mayor's Office, Extension 2771, amount $225,000.
Move the item.
Second.
Chief Mitchell?
3 for 3. Let's go.
I mean, I guess he's not the only one that noticed the fund was getting a little high.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So what's before the council has been a collaboration between my office and the SWAC office and the commissioner to try and host a football game at Legion Field for this upcoming season and in 2027. The only correction that we have on the item, the game will actually be August the 29th, 2026. And I'll go ahead and announce what the teams are. Don't kill me, Dr. McClellan. But it'll be the Alabama State Hornets versus the Southern University Jaguars. So that will be at the historical Legion Field, and as the contract states, there'll be a financial commitment of $225,000 that will be split between both the universities. And then we're working on making sure that we have another high-profile game for 2027. So that's why we have a 2-year agreement. So this just strengthens our collaboration for SWAC and the HBCUs, and making sure that we still use our vital Legion Field Stadium for certain events. Even though it's football, we want to still make sure it's being used correctly.
Exciting times. Any questions?
I do have one question. Would this be a day game or an evening game, or has that been determined
They
yet?
have not announced the time, because I know there's negotiations going on with a potential network.
Okay,
And so we're just waiting to see what time works best for this
okay.
potential network.
I
Just to
like
say
that.
It's only one network.
Well, I do want to thank you all for, I know we always are asking, what can we do with Legion Field and how do we keep that? You know, it's part of being the football capital of the South. And I'm very excited about the teams that will be here. I know both of these schools and their alumni have a great following. I know both of those bands are premier bands, not only within HBCU, but just across the country. So hopefully that will give us the realization of the return on investment that we'd like to see from what we're putting into this. So thank you, and also thanks SWAC for committing to that for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. Sports keep growing. We might have to start a city council sports committee. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. But, all right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, that item passes. We will forward that to the full council with a recommendation to approve. All right, item 22. None? 24?
I'll move for adjournment.
All right. You're not able to make a motion.
I move for adjournment.
We have a certified parliamentarian on the dais, a certified parliamentarian.
That's right.
I move for adjournment.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye. Thank you.